So usually I cover Shadowverse news on my podcast Evolve Point, but unfortunately we can't record this week due to extenuating circumstances. So I thought this was a good opportunity to start a new series this week in Shadowverse where I cover the most pertinent news surrounding the game. Also good for people who don't want to listen to an hour-long podcast, but I will say if you do want to see more extended thoughts and discussions surrounding these news topics, then do look forward to that podcast every week when we can. For now, this week in Shadowverse, first episode, let's get into it. This week for the weekly lobby tournament, they're allowing you to choose between 8 players or the 16-player format. They tested the 8-player format last week. It was only 3 rounds, and they say it's shorter and more relaxed, but the rewards are so much worse than the 4-round 16-player format, so I feel like you should always just do the 4-round one, unless you're really short on time. I'm glad that they allowed you to choose here, because there was definitely a lot of feedback from me included that last week's test where you could only do the 3-round one was a major disappointment and a huge blow in terms of rewards. So if this is the way it's going forward, that's fine by me. Next up, the chest event Rupies Galore Volume 2 ended, and hopefully your chests were better than mine. That's all I gotta say about that. Next, they announced that Take-Two is arriving on August 4th, a little bit ahead of when they said it would come initially. If you don't know what Take-Two is, it's the draft format for Shadowverse, where basically they give you 2 pairs of cards. Sometimes it's 2 mid cards versus 1 good and 1 bad card, and then you have to choose, do I want the 2 mid cards or do I want the one where it's a higher ceiling but more inconsistent? And you basically make that choice 15 times until you have a deck of 30, and then you do an arena run with that. You have to be in D0 at least to participate, but you know, just by playing you get rewards. Hopefully the entrance fee isn't. There's a reason why I'm a little worried, because in Shadowverse 1 you had 3 Take-Two tickets from login rewards, and here, like, if you have to spend rupees to enter, it just turns people off and they might have to spend their rupees on packs instead. We'll have to see how the entry fee is, but generally a good thing, more ways to play the game. Hopefully they give out free tickets so that you can enjoy it without having to spend your resources or your money. Speaking of, set 3 coming out, like I said, late August. It's looking like August 28th is what I've heard. Pretty cool. It's the last set before we finally go into our regularly scheduled release schedule. These first 3 sets are on an accelerated schedule with the 1 month and the 1.5 month. After the 3rd set, it's going to be a standard of 2 months in between every set, so just keep that in mind. The 3rd set is also going to be Omen of the 10 themed, it looks like, given this Miarabane outline, so look forward to archetypes like Lashana or Galmu returning potentially. Shadowverse gave a keynote at CEDEC regarding, you know, their thoughts on the development process of the game and why they chose to make a new game, etc. and so forth. I'm not going to cover everything here, but you can find the article linked below if you're interested in reading it yourself. Now on to the esports side. It's no secret that Shadowverse Open 2025 had a huge snafu regarding their open kickoff. So originally they had an open kickoff, but it was massively delayed for, you know, technical reasons as well as organizational issues regarding the new website that they're using here, start.gg, as opposed to what they used before, Battlefy. Obviously disappointed a lot of people, and a lot of people got very mad. I think the team did their best to rectify it in the most sensible way. They're replacing and postponing preliminaries 1 and 2 so we can participate again on August 3rd, and they actually had a full response here. Due to the delays during the SVO Kickoff preliminaries, many players were unable to participate as intended, and we deeply regret the frustration and disappointment this caused. The preliminaries have been rescheduled, and the tournaments will be run using Battlefy moving forward, so they're going back to the old website they used to use that, you know, worked better with the team. Hopefully this doesn't impact too many people, but obviously it is still disappointing that it happened, and you know, this sudden schedule change might mean that some people suddenly can't compete, which sucks. That being said, even if you couldn't compete in this open kickoff because of this snafu, there at least are a ton of other events happening throughout this half of the year, so there's going to be more opportunities. But very unfortunate situation, and I'm glad the team basically responded as best they could. Next up, the Raid Shadowverse Pro League details were announced. So, you know, this is the invitation stuff, so it's not an open tournament for everybody to participate in, but you get to watch pro level players play, and apparently if you're at the venue you can also do a favorite team survey and get a sleeve and emblem. Also, speaking of JP side tournaments, they recently had the best of 1 tournament beta test, where at the end of the day the deck that went undefeated 7-0 in 7 rounds was Control Abyss Craft. So if you're wondering why Control Abyss suddenly saw a huge uptick on the ladder, this is probably why. The registration for the Shadowverse Shadowverse Online Champion beta test is open. It's going to happen on August 10th, and the registration is until the 3rd/4th. So you're going to want to do that. There's a grand prize where you get to have a day one competition slot in the Japan Championship, and also registration for the event proper in August is also open. The champion will win 5 million yen as well as the World Grand Prix slot. So it's very exciting, but that being said, there are only a few countries that are eligible for this, so do keep that in mind. But if you're from any of these countries or Japan, then definitely give it a look. And finally, on the Shadowverse Classic side, Ultra Sphere format is almost over, and Technicians Cup format also almost over. Going into August, we're gonna have Dawn of Calamity as well as a regular Take-Two Godworm format. So if you're still playing Classic, you can look forward to that. And that's it for this week in Shadowverse. If you enjoyed this video, check out the video on screen right now where I play the best deck in format right now, Mid-Range Swordcraft.